I'm Luke Beard.
I'm Chris Green.
I'm Riley Gunter.
And I'm Nash Rainey.
And we are the Backups. All right, let's get right into college football. We had a wild weekend of college football. The college football playoffs are in. Number 1, Michigan. Number 2, Washington. Number 3, Texas. And number 4, Alabama. Florida State being left out. Georgia being left out. How do y'all feel about this?
I feel like for me it's two opposite ends of the spectrum here. Obviously, I feel like we all agree FSU probably should have been in. With everything going on injuries wise, I understand why they were left out, but they did what they deserved to get in, so I'm kind of disappointed by that. And on the Georgia end, I'm a massive hater, and I was just really happy about this. I know we have some Georgia fans, but I was glad to see them out of the playoff because I could not withstand them three-peating. So it ended well for me on that end. But
I mean, I'm glad they're not going to be able to three-peat. I have a good friend who's a Georgia fan. I've told him all year, you're not three-peating, and I'm glad that's happening. I'm a little mad about FSU because obviously they put in the work, and there's the Jordan Travis. Of course, people are like, oh, that affects them so much. I think it will, but I still think they should have gone in. I do want to say there might be some ESPN SEC collusion with the CFP, but I don't. That's just a theory.
Yeah, I think it's ludicrous that Florida State doesn't make it in. They fit the criteria. They're a 13-0 Power 5 champion, and they're in a conference. The team that made it above them, the conference they're in, was 4-6 against the conference Florida State's in. Right? I'm not saying the ACC is a better conference than the SEC. I think this season you can make an argument. I think the SEC is more top-heavy, and I think the ACC is super top-heavy too. I don't think either of these conferences were the top of college football. But I think Florida State was super disrespected just with, how they're not put in. I understand Jordan Travis is hurt. I get that. You shouldn't penalize the other 100-plus players on the roster because one guy is out. And that's what they did. These are kids who, they work every day, their whole lives to get to this moment, right? And, 30 people on the committee who have never played football can decide if you get to live out your dream and if you get to win or the opportunity to win a championship. And Florida State doesn't get the opportunity to win the championship because these 30, 40 old folks decide that they shouldn't be able to win the title. I'm glad they're moving to a format that makes sense. The Power 5 champions all get in, as they should. Mm-hmm. I'm glad that, all these teams are going to be able to have a chance to fight. It's more football. It makes a lot more money. Everyone will be happy with this, I think. People will still argue that the 13th and 14th team should have gotten in over number 12, which will be ridiculous because if you're not breaking into the top 12, then you shouldn't be in. I understand that portion of it. With Georgia, I understand them not being in. They were 12-0 regular season, so I get that is part of the argument. They should make it there. But if you lose, if you lose in your conference, you shouldn't get in. Even if it's your one loss, because 12-1 Alabama beat you, they're in over you. 12-1 Texas beat them, they're in over Bama. And then Washington and Michigan are undefeated. They should be in. Florida State should have been the other one in there. Texas should be 4, Florida State 3, Washington 2, Michigan 1. And then Alabama and Georgia outside looking in, Ohio State right behind them. And I don't know, the Florida State thing just baffles me that they're not allowed in after going undefeated in a Power 5 conference and having some significant wins. I mean, I've heard a lot of arguments against it, but nothing has moved me to change my view on this. I get Alabama might be a better team. They could be. We don't know. We don't get to see them play. If Florida State goes up against Georgia and can beat this Georgia team, I'm not saying they will. I don't think they will. But if they can, that's going to really shake some people up. That's going to make some people angry. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you didn't let this team in because you didn't think they could compete with these teams, and they just beat Georgia. What do you say then? Yeah. Oh, we didn't think they could compete. They clearly could. And you based it off of what you thought would happen instead of what they proved the entire season. It's not a game about predictions. It's not a game about the future. You can't tell that. These people they don't have the crystal ball. They can't see that. It's who proved themselves before the playoffs. And Florida State proved themselves. And Bama lost, and they shouldn't be in because they lost. even if Texas also lost, they earned it because they beat that Bama team. That's how they earned it. And I think it makes sense they earned it, but Bama, I don't think earned it. I don't think they deserve it. They won the SEC. They beat the #1 team in the country. They went from 8 to 4, though. I don't see how that could happen when you had Florida State as a top 4 team going into this week. They somehow fall back now. I don't get how they fell back with a win. Pretty, a 10-point win in a championship game. That's big. I don't care what you say. They played better than Michigan's offense. And Michigan's ranked #1 in the country. So I just don't get it. Chris?
Yeah, y'all not going to like what I'm about to say, but Florida State, I mean, great season, phenomenal season, first of all. But let's just set down the reality. Without your starting quarterback, they're not the best, one of the best 4 teams in the country right now. That's how I feel personally. But I will say this about the committee. Why put them at 4 if you're just going to take them right back out the following week? Like, you should have just kept them at 5 if you knew you were just going to keep them out. Like,
I'm not sure how Texas's win, even if Bama beat Georgia, I'm not sure how Texas' win propels them that high.
Yeah, it should have been 4. I personally, but before they announced it, I had it Michigan, Washington, FSU, and Texas. That's what I thought it was going to be. But once I saw Texas got 3, I was like, oh, they finna put Bama in.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me. I just don't get how Texas beating Oklahoma State team that's worse than the Louisville team Florida State beat. Even if Bama did get that win against Georgia, how does that propel them that high? Because most of the time they don't look at, oh, well, they beat them, because then Oklahoma should be over Texas. Kansas should be over Oklahoma. It's like, if that's how you look at it, that's how you look at it. But you can't have that double standard and not look at it that way both ways.
Yeah.
LSU beat Missouri. Missouri's above LSU. How's that happen? I would like that to be explained. I would like them to talk about how they thought that happened. And they're like, well, Jordan Travis isn't playing. He should win the Heisman then. If he's that big of a difference, he should win the Heisman.
Yeah, and then when the committees, they explained it on, one of the people for the committee explained it on TV, he basically didn't say nothing. He said a whole lot of nothing.
No, I think it was someone talking on Get Up about it.
It was someone on the show the day
of.
Oh, yeah. He didn't say.
I don't remember his name.
I forgot his name too, but he didn't say nothing.
No, they said everything that didn't make sense about their answer. They said everything that should have gotten Florida State in, is what they said about Alabama. It didn't make sense. It was ridiculous.
I think at least the biggest thing for me is everyone looks at Florida State's schedule and they're like, oh, strength of record's not good. The ACC, I'd say, was as a conference was above average this year. I feel like there's more competition.
Sure.
But then Florida State played 2 SEC opponents. LSU, very good. They were top 10 when they played. And then Florida. If you take away those, if you say they lost to both those teams, they'd be in the same exact bowl game they're in right now. They'd be in the New Year's Six. I'm just like, that, you can't justify them being out to me. I feel like it's
And they scheduled those games away from home.
Yeah.
And they won. They won away from home.
A neutral
zone against LSU.
Yeah.
In the swamp, the most hostile place to play. And they beat Florida without their starting quarterback. I don't get how you can see that and say that they don't deserve to be in.
That's how I kind of see it. It seems like almost the LSU at a neutral site was kind of the thing to justify their resume. If they go undefeated, they win their conference, and then they can say, hey, we took this really good team, we beat them away from home.
Yeah.
Like that should have been the thing.
We beat 2 of your teams.
Yeah.
And you only beat one of them because you hurt their quarterback.
Yeah.
That's the only way Alabama beat LSU. They hurt their quarterback. Florida State did it without having to hurt him. Florida State did it because they outplayed them.
Yeah.
Alabama did it by targeting their quarterback and taking him out.
I'd say, LSU is probably one of the more exciting offenses that at least I've watched season. Jaden Daniels is my Heisman favorite. Although Jaden Daniels had really good stats against Florida State, Florida State still held their offense to only 24 points.
And I do not like Florida State. I grew up hating Florida State. But I respect everything they did this season, and they earned a spot in the playoffs, in my opinion. And I think I will push away from my my fandom and everything to talk about what's right, and they got robbed.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at predictions. Rose Bowl, Michigan, Alabama. Who do y'all have?
I'm going to go straight up. This is Alabama.
Yeah.
Nick Saban in the playoff against Michigan. I mean, Alabama.
I'm in agreement. I'm really, even though I was wrong about Jalen Milroe at the beginning of the season, I'm really high on him right now. His run game is just something else. And then
I'm going to take Michigan. I think their defense is too strong for Alabama. Alabama hasn't faced a defense this good. This defense is better than Georgia's defense. and their offense is, I think, at that same level. I think their running game is better. I think their passing game is weaker. But I'm going to take Michigan just because I think they'll be able to stop Milroe from running the way he can run against a lot of other teams. Because this is a super athletic Michigan team. I get they're not, the Southern players, but they recruit a lot of Southern guys to Michigan.
Yeah.
They recruit a lot of good athletes, and I think their athletes are going to match up with Alabama. And I think they outweigh them just a little bit.
Yep.
And I think with Harbaugh being back, that helps.
Like I said, I got Bama.
Yeah.
I got Bama.
And I understand Bama. I understand the pick.
They just got too much momentum going on right now. I just feel like it's going to be hard.
I agree with that. They do have a lot of momentum.
Beating the number 1 team in the
But
country.
they also, I'm still thinking about that Bama team that was a fluke play away from losing to Auburn.
Yeah.
So.
Sugar Bowl, Washington versus Texas. I've been very high on this Washington team. I've really liked. Their offense has been really exciting to watch. In that, the first game against Oregon really convinced me. I want Washington in this one.
I'm going to take Washington, too. I think this is probably one of the more exciting bowl games this season.
Yeah.
I'd honestly say the CFP is probably one of the more exciting ones because I feel like it can be a toss-up regardless. But I'm high on this Washington team, but I also think Texas has a really good shot with how they're playing now.
Think it'll be close?
I think it'll be a close.
Like a 14-14,
Yeah.
close offensive battle. I can see that happening.
I think this is two fun teams. I think Texas is on a roll, though. And I think they look unstoppable, hook 'em horns, but I'm going to go horns down. I'm going to take Washington. I think Washington's more unstoppable. They beat Oregon twice. Texas' best win is against Alabama. That was very early in the season. And Washington just beat an Oregon team that everyone had them losing to. And Washington beat them. They look confident out there. Michael Penix he's still playing out of his mind. Their receiver core is great. They have a really good running back. Their defense has played really well. They stopped a good Oregon offense.
Yeah.
And I think Texas has a worse defense than Oregon does. And I think Washington will be able to play to that strength of playing Oregon twice, and they'll be able to kind of use that and beat Texas.
So it look like I'm just gonna beat on one pick in Texas, but however, I do like what Washington been doing this year, but I feel like Texas they feel like they're better overall team.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Missouri, Ohio State. What are we thinking?
These are. This is a tough one because of these. I don't know too much about these teams, but I do know that Ohio State was. They were almost a playoff team considering. Yeah. So I really have a tough time picking against them, especially. So I'm going to go Ohio State.
I know Kyle McCord is entering the transfer portal. Do we know if that means he plays the game or not?
They won't let him play. I would be shocked if they let someone who's transferring play.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to go with Missouri just because I feel like Ohio State probably will win just because I'm unsure with how, Ohio State not been quarterback. I feel like I haven't really been confident in Ohio State the entire season with their quarterback. McCord's good, but he doesn't feel like Ohio State level good to me.
Yeah. And
Missouri's just a fun team to watch, so I'll take Missouri.
Yeah, with my assumption that Ohio State's not having a lot of their guys play, a lot of transfers, I think Harrison will be going to the draft, so I'd be shocked if he played.
Yeah, I don't think.
And with the transfers, I'd be shocked if they let them play, because most teams, if you're transferring, you're not playing the whole game. I think Missouri will take them just because Missouri doesn't have an insane amount of transfers. They have a few, I think. I'm pretty sure. But I think they've done well to keep a lot of talent. I think Eli Drinkwitz has really coached this team really well. And I'm not on the Ryan Day train like some people are. I think a lot of people hopped off it now. But, Ryan Day pretty much, got the Roman Empire, and then he's crumbling down himself. Camelot's going down on him, and he's going down with it, it looks like. But Missouri is rebuilding, and I think they've built up to where this can be a good game. I think Ohio State is super physical, and they're a good team, but I think without their starting quarterback, without some of their best players, I'm going to take Missouri.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Missouri just off the sole fact that I know Marvin Harrison and McCord won't be playing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Right, going to the Fiesta Bowl. I think this is a very strong Oregon team. Bo Nix still remains to be a dark horse Heisman candidate. Probably won't win it this year or ever. But
last season, so I think it is.
Who knows? But this is a strong Liberty team, but this Oregon team is just way too good for me to see them losing, even with some players sitting out. I got Oregon in this one.
Yeah, I see kind of like the USC Tulane game last year, except I don't see Liberty being that Group of 5 team that upsets a Pac-12 team. And this Oregon team's I just think Bo Nix is too good on offense, has too many offensive weapons, and it's just different schedule than Conference USA. So
Yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah, this is a game where I just want to take an upset, so I'm going to take Liberty, just because I did see that Tulane team beat
Like anything.
the Caleb Williams-led USC team in a very similar fashion. I think this game could go. So, Liberty has been really fun this season. It's fun to see them go undefeated, and I think they'll want to stay undefeated, so I think a lot of their players will still be playing, and I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled this one out. We saw a Group of 5 team beat a Pac-12 team last year. I wouldn't be shocked if it happens again.
Yeah, I'm taking Oregon, but I could also see the upset happening. It's a good Liberty team, great Oregon team, so anything can happen. But I'm taking Oregon.
I just wanted to take a fun upset.
Yeah,
that's all.
Yeah.
With the Peach Bowl, we have the Ole Miss Hotty Toddy versus the Nittany Lions Penn State. Nash.
This feels it's like a team. It's a match between the two teams that are always kind of on the outside of the top of their conferences. I feel like we always hear a lot about both of these teams, but when they play the top dogs of their conferences, they don't win.
Yeah.
But it's got to be Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Jackson Dart and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lane Kiffin Ole Miss team.
Yeah, I'm assuming Jackson Dart gonna play because he's coming back. So yeah, Ole Miss.
And Penn State always just somehow messes up against ranked teams. So
Yeah, so
I think that helps. Orange Bowl, FSU and Georgia. I think we talked about it a little bit. Nash. I think I know who you're gonna go with, but
I'm a hater of both these teams, but I can respect it, especially when they're not in the playoff. Georgia's. I feel very strong about this Georgia team, and I think they're gonna win this game. I don't feel like it. I feel like usually it's a bad idea to count out the Bulldogs, and especially with an FSU team that doesn't even have their starter, even if they wanted him. This is going to be a Georgia win.
Yeah, it pains me to say I think Georgia's going to win. I'm hoping that this FSU defense can come out and make a good statement, be like, hey, you should have put us in the playoff. But I feel like for them to do that, they just got to contain Brock Bowers. Because obviously in the SEC championship, the passes that Carson Beck needed to make, he would just throw it to
Brock Bowers,
and he'd be covered. And I think Georgia's going to win. I think they're the better. I kind of think they're the better team.
yeah, I think it'll be a fun game. I think Georgia will win, but I've never cheered for FSU, and I think I'm gonna. I kind of want to see them win just to make a statement. I would like a statement game to happen.
yeah, for me, I'm just picking Georgia. I feel like FSU still got a great defense, even without their starting quarterback. They still got a.
They have a great offense too. They just don't have the starting quarterback.
They got a great overall team, but I feel like Georgia just a little bit more well-rounded. Even if Brock Bowers and Carson Beck decide not to play, they still pretty loaded. I feel like.
Yeah, I think the game's just going to be a letdown because this was known as like FSU's. This was their year.
Yeah.
I feel like it's ending in a very disappointing way.
Gator Bowl, Clemson versus Kentucky. I think we can all just say a quick one-word answer for this one. Nash, you want to go ahead?
Clemson.
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 Go Tigers, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like really doesn't even need to be a statement said about that one.
Yeah.
Heisman predictions. So we have Michael Penix, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Maserati Marv. Who do y'all have taken it home on a realistic basis? Who do you all have taken it home? Not who you're rooting for, but who do you have?
Jaden Daniels. I feel like the year he's been having, you can't ignore that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Bo Nix's second loss kind of pushed him under it. I think he had it. If he beat Washington, he definitely had it. But I think Daniels, 50 total touchdowns, not even making your conference finals and having that, I think that in 12 games doing that, I think that pushes you over most guys.
Yeah, I had Penix at the beginning of the season, but I think Jaden Daniels just kind of ran away with it. I believe ESPN posted a graphic today, and it was showing the stats lined up, and Jaden Daniels by far had the better completion rate and passing yards. I'm like, you can't make that graphic and be like, he's not gonna win. I think
you can't say he's the reason they're not winning because he's done everything he could.
Yeah. I think Jaden Daniels has had a phenomenal season, just unreal. But I think knowing kind of how the Heisman gets chosen, sometimes I feel like sometimes a bit of an argument that is made about the games that these players play, and I think there's a narrative there that even though not even in his control, they might count out Jaden Daniels because he hasn't been in the games that Penix has had. So I personally think that Penix is going to bring this one home.
Yeah.
But I could very much easily see, I see it as like a 60-40 thing, very close.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they'll take that into consideration this year
Yeah.
because I think if they did, you'd have J.J. McCarthy in here and you'd have Jalen Milroe. These people would be in here, but Daniels is in it. And I think Daniels being in it it's kind of hinting he'll win. I feel like he's at that level that RG3 was, and that who else won it with 3 losses? It was Lamar. He's at that level.
Yeah.
He's with those guys.
I agree.
I'm just hoping it's not Bo Nix. I can't watch a guy that I called Bo Picks a few seasons ago win a Heisman. I get there's player development and growth, but I
Dark horse.
just can't.
Dark horse.
Let's kick over to the NFL. Riley, I'll let you talk about your team. They got a big win. Go ahead.
First off, they're not my team, but it's the Niners on my team. Unless we want to talk about the Niners first.
No, your team.
All right, Cowboys. Dak's been playing.
Continue.
Reading what's on the list. Dak's been playing great these past few weeks. Doesn't seem like early on Dak, and I kind of want to cheer for the Cowboys now.
You're a 49ers fan, bro.
I know, but Mike, as a second team,
That can't be a second team, bro. That's like me saying, oh, I like what the Lions doing this year. I want to root for them.
Yeah, Nash becoming a huge Falcons fan would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You can't do that, man. That's
Or if
their
I
worst
became a
rival.
Saints fan.
I got family in Dallas though.
Yeah.
No, bro, but
Yeah, I
that's their worst
understand.
rival, bro.
Pick one, bro. Pick a team.
Not the Cowboys. though.
Yeah, Dakota's had a good season.
Yeah, he having a great
He's playing well. I think he's in the MVP race right now. I saw Brock Purdy went to number 1.
Number one. I mean, he having a great season too, but I feel like Dak been playing better football.
If you're looking at people who are around these players, and you're telling me Brock Purdy is a better player than Dakota Prescott,
Like, imagine Dak Prescott
That's
with
absurd.
Ayuk, Debo, and George Kittle, and Christian McCaffrey.
yeah, no, it's absurd.
He would have 40
that-
touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, it can't be Purdy. It just
Yeah,
can't.
I feel like the season
They're
Dak
pushing
had,
a narrative.
and Dak said before the season, I'm not throwing more than 10 interceptions this year. He has 6 right now. He haven't thrown a pick since.
He has a lot of games left.
He got a lot of games
a
left.
lot of games
He got a
left.
lot of games left, but I mean, he been doing.
He's
well.
going to hit a curve. He's going to hit a roadblock.
I think he's gonna touch 10 though.
Yeah, he'll get close.
Yeah.
I like Dak. I've always liked Dak. I've been a fan of Dak for a while.
Me too.
I just don't like the Cowboys,
Yeah, I
so
don't
that
like
doesn't help.
Dak either, but I like Dak.
The Falcons beat the Jets 13-8. Falcons continue their reign as the best team in the NFC South. Not a great one,
Yeah,
ugly
it was.
win. It's
Not every win gonna be pretty
no,
though.
no, most wins aren't going to be pretty, but it's a win. Go Birds. Let's fly. See y'all next week. I'll talk about this team since no one's a fan. The Niners beat the Eagles 42-19. That's probably the most impressive showing from any team I've seen all year, because the Eagles were the team that we're like they could win the NFC, and the Niners just dominated. I mean, if you dominate a team like that, it's just crazy because this Eagles team is really good.
Yeah.
And
This Niners team just beat them on every
Yeah.
step.
And if I remember, like after they lost to I think it was either before or after they lost to the Eagles, Debo's saying like how the secondary was weak, how
Yeah.
if they would have had Purdy, he
proved it.
came there stood on business and,
proved it.
and
They put all the Niners stuff on the Rocky statue and worked out for them.
We're going to the Super Bowl though. Still, been waiting on it since we played.
I don't know if the
Who
Cowboys
is
make
we?
it
You
this
just
year.
said you
Nah,
wanted to root for the
Been waiting
Cowboys.
on it.
You
We
just
lost-
said you wanted
we
to root
lost
for the
to
Cowboys.
Lost to the Ravens and lost to the Chiefs.
I don't
ain't
remember.
played- y'all
I don't
ain't-
think the Cowboys played either of those teams.
Yeah,
Right now.
and the 49ers don't play the Ravens till Christmas.
We're just
Yeah.
like walk off when we talk about NFL.
Yeah, but the Cowboys will be I think they'll be a pretty good. They'll have a chance of making it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be a decent seed.
Big game coming up against the Eagles. That should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, you should be excited.
Big. I feel like this is a huge statement win for 49ers if you want to tell everyone you're the number 1 team in the NFC, beating the Eagles,
Beating
in
the team
stadium,
that was the number 1 team in the NFC helps.
beating them like this, it's impressive, and
Yeah.
I think they'll be a force come playoff time.
Yeah, as long as they can bar injuries, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Buccaneers defeat the Panthers in a 21-18 game, another sloppy game, NFC South football. I don't think either of these teams are great. I don't think any NFC South team is great, but these are kind of the lower teams in the totem pole this year, with the Panthers being the lowest team proven here in 21-18 loss. It's time for Nash's vent session of the week, so Nash, I'll let you take it away for us.
Every week, man. Every week, I think, you know what? Maybe this Sunday we'll do what we need to do and, just barely inch out a win, and every week I'm disappointed. And, it hurts, man. And I keep saying this because it keeps hurting even worse every week. And I'm thinking, when is it going to get better for us? This is probably, I've said it before, and even more so now, this is the worst Panthers football team I have ever watched in my entire life. And it's depressing. And then you think about how we fired our coach, and we don't have our first-round pick, and our number one offensive weapon is Adam Thielen.
Hey, dog.
It's just, it's just tough, man.
You should make like a song about the Panthers. Kind of like the Orlando Magic.
Or do some type of poetry.
Yeah.
Like just,
maybe that'll get to him.
maybe get you a diary and just after y'all lose every week, just
Read it out
yeah.
on the show. That'd be fun.
This is tough, but keep pounding. We're gonna win this Sunday.
Title charge starts this week.
Title charge starts 2027.
Keeps going back.
It keeps going back.
Yeah.
The Packers defeating the Chiefs 27-19 came as a shock. Jordan Love had one of his best games of his career so far. Chris, you're our resident Packers fan. I'll let you go ahead.
In August, I tweeted out, I said, y'all ain't ready for the rise of Jordan Love. And these past 3 weeks, he's just been playing phenomenal. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I thought that Lions win was a little fluke, so I was like, we probably won't do this again next week. But to come out again and do it at home, playing against the best quarterback in the NFL, gonna retire as the GOAT, outplayed him. He did. I don't know why you're making that face. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes.
The retired as the GOAT part.
He gonna retire as the GOAT, man.
He has to win some more.
Yeah, he gonna retire as the GOAT.
Like five more.
He gonna be the greatest of all time when he retire, man.
I can see it more. I'm just saying.
I see the vision.
I could see it, but he has to win 5 more, and he won't have Travis
I don't
Kelce's
care
whole
what
career.
you're saying, man. He's gonna be the greatest of all time when he retire. But
No, that's fine, but he just won't have Kelce's whole career.
He came out. Jordan Love balled out, man.
And then Kelce's getting hurt. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look, like I said,
I
man.
know who he's the GOAT.
Like I said.
These number one guys getting hurt already.
Like I said, man.
He's not feeling good.
Like I said, he's gonna retire, the greatest of all time, man.
I don't know if he'll beat Brady.
Great game by Green Bay, and just keep it up for the rest of the December.
Impressive win. All I gotta say is Jordan Love, I'd like to apologize. I was not familiar with your game. That's on me. You have proven me wrong. It's Jordan Love season.
He proved everybody at this table wrong. I didn't know what to think before the season started. So.
All right, let's do a quick rundown of the Premier League. Arsenal defeating Wolves 2-1. We expected it. I don't think anyone's shocked. Arsenal's the best team in the Premier League. Burnley defeating Sheffield United 5-0. Nash, take it away real quick.
I mean, this is a dominant win. You see wins like this, and you're like, that winning team, they must be so good. That losing.
All right, Liverpool defeating Fulham 4-3. I'm not going to let him spread propaganda here, Chris.
Okay, so
fun game.
Very fun game. Well, not really. To watch for as a fan wasn't a fun game, but I know people like who didn't watch the game and looking like how was they in a dogfight with Fulham? But we didn't have Alisson Becker. To be fair, we held up when we needed to, and we came out to win. Like I said, every win not gonna be pretty.
I like
came out with the win.
At the 86th minute, you were down 3-2, and then 87th minute, you're up 4-3.
We back up. We back up.
Chelsea defeating Brighton 3-2. No one's shocked by that, I don't think. Chelsea's a club on the rise. They're world class, obviously.
They're on the rise, but I'd say
Brighton's on a triumphant fall
we're
off.
on a bit of a decline. We have a lot of injuries going on. In the great words of James Harden, when we figure this out, it's going to be scary, and I think it will be scary for the Premier League.
In the great words of James Harden, we're going to be relegated, and that's how Brighton's feeling.
It's not true. Just a side note, small club made it to the knockouts of the Europa League. Still, that's just big news.
And on their way to getting relegated.
Yeah,
and
not every team can be good and win on the Saturday, Sunday.
Gets one win and he thinks he's the greatest team in the world.
This dude.
And Man City draws with Spurs 3-3. These are both really good teams.
Yeah,
I mean, these are two great clubs.
I will say there was an argument that's been going on that the ref called a foul.
You love Twitter, man.
When man said, no, that's true.
My Premier League, you love X, man.
Premier League even came out. They even said that the ref should not have called a foul kick, and they gave the advantage. And
I was watching at the end. I thought I was iffy about it. I was like, I don't know about that, but
Riley's reading Twitter propaganda.
If the Premier League,
you make one mistake. They made one
bad
bad call. They made one bad call that shouldn't completely change the game.
But
if you outplay them the rest of the game, you're not in that situation.
But to be fair,
that is true.
And that last call, I didn't think he was gonna score for real. Even if they didn't call, I didn't think he was gonna score for real.
And whatever Chris thinks goes.
I don't even know why I'm doing like Man City propaganda.
Yeah, what are you doing?
My team's at
They don't need it.
third.
They don't need it. Let's kick into overtime, Chris. I know you want to talk a little boxing.
This weekend, Devin Haney, he makes his return from a controversial decision with Loma. I didn't think it was controversial after rewatching, but it goes against Regis Prograis, going up a division on his journey to go undisputed again. So should be a good fight. His fan base been going at it all on X, I guess. That's what it's called now.
It's called Twix.
Yeah, yeah, Twix. So his fan base been having a lot to say. So we got to see what's going to go down this Saturday.
Yeah, we have a lot of Twix users here.
Yeah.
Riley, you want to talk about Clemson in the portal? Your favorite thing?
Yeah, so we have some transfers that some are big, some are a little iffy. I'll start off with Toriano Pride, might have murdered his first name. He's a big loss. He's the #1 CB in the portal right now, but I think he was a little threatened by. We have some really good DBs, and same goes for Makuba. I expect him to go to the draft. I personally thought he was the worst DB out there on the field, so I'm okay with him transferring. And I'd say the other big one is Bo Collins, but
Took a visit to Notre Dame.
I think he will go Notre Dame. I've seen Notre Dame fans say that he's going to have a long touchdown run. Pat catch, but I think they're watching a completely different Bo Collins than I watched this season.
If he had a long touchdown run, though.
But with all these transfers leaving, I have faith that we have something coming in the
I
transfer.
would think something has to be coming.
I think so, but knowing Dabo, I feel like it's 50-50 shot if we use the portal or not.
Yeah, we haven't heard anything, which is weird, but I feel like something.
It's just waking up every day and hoping that.
I feel like we're going on the right side after.
I mean, I definitely feel like we'll have a couple people coming, and that'll really help out this team. And I think they'll come in fast, and they'll really kind of help rebuild the program.
I think seeing that we offered that D2 O lineman, I think that's a good sign.
That's a start.
I think it's a start. It's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good sign that we're gonna. I mean, hopefully we have a lot of guys coming in fast.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Nate Wiggins are both going to the NFL, top defensive players from this year's Clemson team. I mean, all I can really say is kind of expected. They've both been playing phenomenally, and I wish them all the best. And
They'll both be high draft picks.
They'll both be high draft picks, and I'm kind of excited to see how they do in the NFL.
So I want to talk about something very near and dear to me, and that's the Clemson soccer team. They are heading to Louisville for the College Cup. We have the Final Four against West Virginia coming up on Friday, and I plan on being in attendance for that. And if we win that, we will be in the national championship being played Monday, which I also hope to be in attendance for. So I'm just excited to see what this Clemson team can do late in the season. It's a really fun team to watch that deserves a lot of support, and they've done really well. So I'm excited to see them play.
Yeah.
I think that's all we have.
All right.
I don't know when we'll see them again, the viewers.
Yeah,
we have break coming up.
much, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
Yeah.